What's happening, guys? Happy Monday. Coming off of a wild NFL Sunday for a couple of reasons. Almost forget, like, baseball is still a thing. I mentioned in our other video, I'll say it again, year-long fantasy baseball. Had a real sweat going with one of our customers, Nick Odd, longtime customer. Nick, that's a horrible loss, man. I feel bad for you, but I feel good for myself, but I feel really bad for you. In baseball, we are just in the midst of it right now. I think this playoffs is going to be exciting this year. I'm kind of excited for it now.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. And it's like any other sport. When you take a couple days off from playing baseball, it's like hard to jump back in because you feel like you've missed so much. Luckily, I only haven't played on Sundays, so I feel like I'm right back in it. And I would play on Sundays, but I kind of had a feeling this would happen. The contest selections are awful. They're even worse than like those day slates.
Worse than the day slates. Are they as bad as like the NBA 2-game slates now?
They're like on the same level.
Okay. And that's a problem. Like, it's no fun. Like, when we play these day MLB slates and I look in there and I'm like, really? Like, the GPPs are either like $100 or like two. Like, there's nothing in the middle for like a more casual player, but who still wants like a little bit to like pay attention to. Like, I miss the days when they used to have those $9 3-entry maxes. I thought that was a great tournament. Like, that's what I like about football on Sundays is there's multiple 3-entry maxes that like I can play in the 15s, the 9s, the 12s, and everything.
Football is yeah, the football Sundays, there's contests every size at pretty much every dollar amount. And baseball, they just haven't been doing it. I guess the interest just isn't there.
I mean, I would assume that's obviously it, but even like NBA playoffs, you'd think they would be able to. There's got to be a middle. I can't be the only one out there that would love a 3x12 3-entry max or 3x9 or 3x15. I can't be.
I think that people like these showdown NBA contests more than like the 2-day slates, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what we're focusing on moving forward. We don't have a game tonight, but we'll get back into those bad boys tomorrow. But we're here to talk baseball tonight. We could go on and on whining about showdown slates, but get your money in at overlay if you're interested in something different. Ever since they opened up this matchup shop, it feels like a license to print money as long as you find the right ones. Honestly, for baseball, I don't like it as nearly as much as I do for NFL and NBA, where I feel they're significantly more predictable, i.e., how could you not pick Josh Allen over Ryan Fitzpatrick yesterday? And if you want to start getting this money and you haven't signed up yet, we got this cross promotion we're running right now, getting some results with it. We'd love to have you guys jump in as well. For first-time overlay payers, you've heard us talk about it nonstop for the last year. If you've thought about playing on it and you want to give it a whirl, go make that initial deposit for brand new players. Screenshot your deposit, send it to me so I can hook you up with a free DFS 5-pack membership. $50 deposit, free 2 weeks, $100 deposit, free month, $500 deposit, free annual membership, $1,000 deposit, free lifetime membership. Check out the overlay play of the day video I did earlier. Let's go win some money, kids.
Let's get it. They got great contests going over there right now, and kill two birds with one stone.
All right, subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. So there's several pitching options today on this slate that are guys that you could talk about. I think we want to get off the beaten path a little bit and talk about a GPP alternative to the chalkier starting pitchers. Now, you won't get Marquez at 1% or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get him at single digits today. What are your thoughts on that?
I think he comes in somewhere around 10 to 15%. So we basically see it eye to eye because see it exactly like you do. He's not going to be unowned because he's in a good pitcher's park here. Marquez people like, and he's under 8K. And for all those reasons, I like him here. No Dickerson tonight. Probably no Yastrzemski, two of their better lefty hitters. I'm a big Marquez fan. You are a Marquez fan too. We both like him a lot. You never really need to twist my arm to get here. And while there's no doubt there are higher upside pitchers on this slate, I love his $7,800 price tag for what it allows you to do offensively. And like you mentioned at the beginning, he's not a must, and he's not a guy you really are going to lock in your cash games. But in tournaments, at this price point, we know the strikeout upside is real when he's pitching well. I like him a lot here.
He's also priced down a little bit because he just had to go through a bunch of Coors Field games, and his one road game was at the Dodgers, which might as well be thrown in Coors Field against that loaded lineup. So he's priced down a little bit. Again, we have not seen great Marquez in over a month, so it's difficult to get, jump in with 2 feet. But we know the 30-point upside is there. We've seen it a bunch of times throughout his career. You got to be a little bit ballsier to go this way to fade the chalkier starting pitchers. But on a day like Monday, which I cannot tell you, we haven't brought it up as much this year, but Mondays are due for wildness. And MLB right now is a wild show with half these teams out of it, half these teams prepping for the playoffs. I'm thinking about Michael Keaton from the original Batman movie. Like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Love it.
All right. So another guy that I don't think you're getting nuts with. I expect him. You brought it up. He's probably going to get some love today because he bats near the top of the Pirates lineup, and he's dirt cheap. And we don't have as many dirt cheap options as normal. People want high priced pitchers, and that's B. Ryan Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates for only 2,700. Something that you like to say. John Lester is nothing but smoke and mirrors at this point of his career, and if those aren't working, he's very hittable.
Yeah, he's hit leadoff a couple times recently against left-handed pitching. If he's right there again, or if he's at the top of the lineup, I think he makes a lot of sense as a filler piece at 2,700. All formats. We know Lester's a guy that it's getting by on like grit and guts right now. His stuff isn't necessarily what it used to be. I think that Pittsburgh's in a decent spot to use some filler pieces. I'm not going to sell my soul on the Pirates. They suck. But as filler pieces, like I mentioned, at these cheap price points, they're firmly in play. And Reynolds is the top guy at 2,700.
Yeah, look, we got a lot of upper tier pitchers today that people are going to want to roster. You're going to need some cap space. There's no Orioles. There is none of these DJ Stewart hitting a home run every day for only $2,200. It just does not exist on this slate. It's one of the rare DK baseball slates this year where you're not loaded with cheap options. And his numbers are awful. A 614 OPS, trash. 180 batting average, garbage. However, he's better than that. He's not a great hitter, but he's better than that. Probably won't have an opportunity to turn it around this year because we only got a few games left, but that doesn't mean that he's playing decently right now. He can't go out and have a good game today.
Yeah, exactly. Amen.
All right, next up. So another guy who's right on Brian Reynolds' level as a hitter is Freddie Freeman. No, I'm just kidding. Freddie Freeman is an NL MVP candidate, and I'm not a big narrative guy during the regular season. I talk a lot more about intangibles for the NBA playoffs. But if you're into things like this, I think Freddie Freeman is like right there, maybe second, possibly first in some people's eyes for the NL MVP. This is a guy that could use a little last week bump to his resume if he wants to pad those stats, get that NL MVP. 3 walks yesterday. There's some real buying signs here.
Yeah, I like Atlanta a lot here. And as always, I don't care who's on the hill. Freeman's right there as a top 2 piece with Acuna. I mean, the power upside's always real with him. You talked about him being right there for the NL MVP. Well, the reason he's right there is because his numbers are legit. I mean, look at his stat line. It's really, really good. He's been playing awesome ball for the past couple weeks. Had his worst game of the season on Saturday night. Of course, I used him then, went 0 for 5 with at least 3 strikeouts and hit into
4.
4 strikeouts and a double play and 5 at bats. So maybe one of the worst games, maybe the worst game Freeman's ever had in the pros. Bounced back yesterday. And now in a lefty on lefty matchup, after he walked 3 times yesterday, I don't think he gets much love at all. I love him in this spot.
Yeah. So kind of the first spot, we saw a week or two ago when they faced Georgie Lopez of the Baltimore Orioles that Atlanta had ownership that I don't know I've ever seen, even in a Coors Field slate. They won't go unowned today because they are one of the top offenses in baseball. People love Freeman. They love Acuna. So you're not going to get them at 1%. But this is a day where you're going to get them significantly lower than normal. One of the reasons we brought out Marquez is because it's going to be difficult to double up on stud pitchers if you're trying to go after a stack like this. So it's kind of that zig when the other people zag type of theory. And to once again quote Michael Keaton from Batman, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Let's go with the higher price bats today, pay down on pitching a little bit, and get ourselves wilding out for a wild Monday.
I love it. I'm honestly thinking you might need to add Michael Keaton to the promo at the beginning with the thumbs up.
All right, last up, Toronto Blue. Oh, no, not last up. Next guy up, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays, 4,200. We look at Toronto as not our top place to go tonight, but one of those quiet sleeper stacks. One thing they do have is power. The other thing is speed. These are what DK rewards. You talked about the Cardinals getting love today. It's hard to ever jump to in 2 feet with the Cardinals because they don't do the things that DK rewards. They have very little power, and they don't run it all. Toronto will do those things. Now, they're not consistent. They're real up or down. They did make it into the playoffs this year, so they're an interesting team to watch, but they definitely do some of the things that DK rewards. And this year, outside of Teoscar, Gurriel's probably their best hitter.
Yeah, he's having a really good year, especially playing well recently. A lot to like here at this price tag. You really said it all. Toronto isn't the most optimal place to go today, but their upside is real. They're probably going to be lower owned. And at this price point, Gurriel is, I'll speak for you, our favorite piece of Toronto here. So far from a must, but a guy and a team you can look at in tournaments.
I was actually looking at the Alomar, Molitor, Joe Carter mini stack, but yeah, you got me on Gurriel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Last up, Brett Gardner of the New York Yankees, priced at 3,200. A big thing that's going to dictate what you do with Gardner today, in my opinion, is where is he in the batting order? The Yankees have everything all clinched up. You've seen him give some guys some days off, move guys around in the batting order, which is not untypical for a Yankees team that's been dealing with injuries since the late 1700s. It seems like.
Right.
I saw Gardner in the 3-hole the other day. If he's there, he'll be chalk supreme. If he's batting in the 9-hole, which we've seen plenty of this year, he's going to be real low owned. He's another cheap guy that will help you complete your lineup. He's actually seeing the ball really well right now. And while he doesn't run like he used to, he's actually a decent power hitter at this point of his career.
Yeah, so I agree on all your points again. That's probably why we're bringing him up, because we both liked him here. New York is another stack that might get a little bit less love than they should because they've got really expensive pieces. Well, regardless, Gardner fits if you want to stack New York, if you want to use expensive pitching and you just want a one-off. He works in all formats, especially if he's batting in the middle of this Yankees lineup like he has been. He's another guy that's got some power and he'll run. He got caught stealing on Saturday night. The Yankees are starting to run a little bit, so I like him in all formats. Just way too cheap of a price point.
Yeah, watch for the batting order. It's the first game of the night. You're going to know where he's batting. You're going to know what to do with them. As you said, the Yankees are always in play. Unless they're matched up with DeGrom or Max, this is a stack that's in play every single day because, they do everything. They're just an amazing offense. So, watch where he's batting, rock and roll and go with that. And kind of like the Braves, as we mentioned. They're going to get love. They get a little love every day, but we don't think they're coming in as like uber chalk tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
So, thank you guys. Click that thumbs up button, and we will see you guys tomorrow as we probably get back into every single sport that there is.
Yep. Thanks, guys.